Hello, flatties and defenders of the slowly rotating celestial sphere. It's Critical Think from Down Under. And today we're going to look at the horizon. In particular, we're going to look at why there should be no side-to-side curve when looking at the horizon. Now, a lot of flatties will think that this is necessary if we live on a sphere, but in fact it's mathematically incorrect. The horizon at low altitude is in fact a straight line all around because it's a circle, and we're going to see why today. So I'm a rank beginner at Blender, but I've made myself a spherical model. Put a picture of the countries of the Earth, so it's a model of a globe. So it'll be turned around a bit so you can see that it is in fact a globe and not just a circle, because all globes look like a circle flat on. Now this camera that I've got here, it's pointing out into the ocean. I've sort of like got it set in the middle of the Pacific. The camera's a little bit big, and I've still got the mesh showing there that was like at the beginning point of Blender. So one day I'll get to do this properly. But and the camera is very big in terms of, that's a huge expanse of ocean compared to the real world that this camera is pointing at. So that's quite a long stretch of horizon. You'd never see that much in one go. So it's not totally realistic, but it's a globe and there's a camera pointing out on the surface. Now I'm going to rotate this camera, but before I do, you'll notice that there's very little lateral curve. That's very long way on the ocean, there's no curve, and that makes sense because it's, when you look around you, if you were on an island in the Pacific, if you looked around, you wouldn't see the water dip on both sides. It would look flat all around. So people mistaken sphere with curve all around you, but in fact it will look flat, as I will illustrate when I turn this camera around. So the camera is going to start turning here, and you'll see the viewport on the top, and it will go around the globe. So there, it's the camera, you can see the camera turning in the bottom and the viewport turning in the top. Now there's a bit of movement because I couldn't align the camera exactly level, so the camera is, you can see it's turning around, and you can see that it's mostly, it's not going to curve on both sides. You're going to end up looking all around you and it looks flat. Now I'm going to now put the camera on the side, and I'm going to raise the elevation of this camera. Now I'm not to scale, I don't know how high I'm going. I'm just going to illustrate the point here of raising the camera and seeing what the difference is. So I pull that, drag that up, and you can see as you raise the camera, the curve gets more pronounced. So that is the equivalent of going up very high. I mean, it doesn't look very high on this globe because the Earth is very, very big, but that would be the equivalent of very high. I don't know what my scale is at this point in time. I may work that out later. This is just an illustration of what the kind of thing that happens, and that's why you don't see any curve until you get very high, because then you start to see the edge of the circle. And so I'm just going to play with this a bit and go down again. It goes flat, and you can see we're back
at nearly sea level, and it's flat again. And I'm rotate and go higher. I'm just playing with this a little bit, just going in different directions. And you've seen these kinds of sorts of things from videos from objects higher. So as something goes higher, you see more of the curve. So this is, I don't have to fire a rocket up in space to show this on the model, that you can see that it, you know, it resembles what we see from high up. And this is just from my model. So I'll just run this. It's nothing much until the end. And you can, that's it. You've got to know your globe model if you're going to debunk it. So make sure that you're familiar with how the globe works, and then you'll be more equipped to speak intelligently when you're trying to debunk it. Because right now, if you say you expect there to be a side-to-side drop in the horizon, this is totally incorrect. I've just demonstrated that at the beginning, towards the beginning of this video. You cannot expect at low altitude to see a drop side to side. So please stop saying it. Please don't say, oh, I don't see any side to side curvature, so it's flat. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. That's just how it works. That's just how a globe works. Think about if you're standing on a desert island in the middle of the ocean. Think about if you turned around, what would you see? It would look pretty much like what I showed in this video. So it looked pretty much like that. So that's the end of this video. Thank you very much for watching, and please subscribe.